Alright, hey you guys, what's up? So today I'm going to actually be doing a demonstration using the Keda liquid dye. Basically what I'm going to be doing is mixing the Keda liquid dye into tung oil. Typically this is not a, well, I shouldn't say that. The Keda liquid dye is a solvent based product, which means it mixes very well with acetone, lacquer thinner, denatured alcohol, and items of those natures. Typically they don't mix very well with straight up petroleum based products, meaning like oil bases and things like that. This is actually a video because I was talking with Ron Jeffries, who's a pretty well established guitar builder, a custom guitar builder, and we were having a discussion about if the liquid dyes will mix with something like a tung oil. Just a quick little demonstration on how you can end up mixing Keda liquid dye, the solvent base, into items like tung oil. Now the dye should go straight, they can go straight into, like, say, lacquer, shellac, solvent based top clear coat sealers. It won't have any problem with that. It's just with the Tru Oils and things like that, or tung oil, Danish oil. This is kind of like the process that you're going to want to end up following. So all I'm going to do, I'm not going to be making like a ratio or anything like that either. This is just going to be just a demonstration on how you can end up doing it. So all I'm going to do now is take the Keda liquid dye, and I'm just going to put a squirt into I'm sorry, my camera keeps blacking out on me here. I'm just going to take a Keda liquid dye and I'm going to pour it right into this tung oil. I'm just taking a squirt. So that's maybe about, I don't know, an 1/8 teaspoon. But as you can see, it doesn't mix very well into the petroleum based product. Actually, let me get my, well, I need that board there so I can kind of show you guys. But you see how that it just kind of lingers in there. But if you take a product like acetone and you end up adding some of the acetone, again, I'm sorry, I'm not making really like a ratio or anything, but if you can see now, it is sure, well, that's showing up on the camera. It is mixing it into the tung oil now. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys this little demonstration. Now what's this going to be good for? So basically you can end up doing a one-stop shop, really. You can end up taking like a solvent based liquid dye like this Keda dye and add it into a top coat sealer and then wipe it on and you're done. Maybe put a clear coat or two over the top of it. Otherwise you could also put a clear coat or two underneath it, then use your tinted over the top of it, and then maybe like 1 or 2 clear coats over the top of that to give it a little bit added depth and dimensioning. Also, this will be good for, like, say you have a nice figured maple. So say this is a curled maple right here and you want to have a two-tone color. So say that you want the curls to be a black, then you can mix a nice concentrate up of the like a top coat sealer or something with the, like, say you want to use lacquer. So then you take lacquer, you take the Keda liquid dye black, put some into the top coat sealer, wipe it onto the surface, and then maybe do 2 coats, sand that back, and then then apply your dye stain over the top. And what will happen is that the black will end up being in those deeper curls or the figuring of the wood, and then your second color will be on the surface and you'll end up having that two-tone look. Alright, so something with this as well, because this is a petroleum based product, you're probably going to want to let it sit for a little bit, excuse me, just so that the dyes have a better opportunity to mix in and have a better chance to open up and stuff like that. But you can use it right away. And that's kind of what I'm going to end up doing, just for the purposes of the video. Now, I'm just taking a paper towel here, and I'm getting some of the tung oil with the Keda liquid dye on there with the acetone, and I'm just going to rub this on. I'm going to leave a little section so that way I'll come back in about a half hour or so, and we'll take a look at what it's like after it's sat for, well, we'll say about 30 minutes. See if it darkens up more. And then obviously you can always add more. I really didn't put very much of the liquid dye in there. I'd say I probably only put about, maybe an 1/8 teaspoon if that. My paper towel is starting to disintegrate. And then I also probably put about, well, I'd say 2 teaspoons of the acetone in as well. And it was probably about 2 ounces of the tung oil. So I'm not sure. So, like I said, I'm going to leave this section open here so that way we can test it, how it looks after it's sat for a little bit. I won't do anything off camera. I'll record this whole process as we go. So I'll probably come back and apply a second coat to this, just to see what it looks like and darken it up. And then so I'll come back and we can kind of do a comparison and side by side, and I'll come back in about 30 minutes and we'll take a look and see what it looks like. All right, thanks. I hope this helps. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the Keda dye red. It's like a bright crimson red color. I'm just going to add a little bit of the red so it shows up a little better on the camera here. Oops, not sure if that's showing up here. So I just added a squirt. I mean, not a whole lot, but probably about half a teaspoon or so. I mean, half a teaspoon, half of 1/8 teaspoon or so. Yeah, sorry, it's just getting kind of late. And I'm just gonna switch this around a little bit. Okay, and one other thing that I ended up doing is I put a coffee filter around my paper toweling. My paper toweling is it's kind of breaking up a little bit as I'm applying the dyes here. So I just put that on to help try to prevent some of the paper toweling from breaking apart, and it might be a good tip. This is the first time I'm trying it, so well, wish me luck. Okay, so again, this is sat for about 30 minutes or so. Actually, let's see, what is the exact time? It's sat for 38 minutes, and I'm just gonna apply this. Well, I should have probably not did that because I shouldn't have added the red, so that way we could have seen the color contrast. But anyways, yeah, this coffee filter isn't working the greatest, but here. So I'm not exactly sure how well that is showing up on the camera. But hopefully it ends up helping. You know, just kind of demonstrating how you can end up mixing the liquid dyes with something like a Tru Oil or a tung oil. I'm going to really saturate this one. I'm going to apply a second coat over here. Because, you know, like with tung oil, you kind of have to build it up a little more. And another thing too is when you're tinting the sealers and you're wiping it on, you want to make sure that you don't leave streaks and things like that, so that way you can end up having, you know, a nice uniform even finish. You know, this is another thing too where you can, you know, you can actually tone your board a little bit with something like this. So you can see here it's a little bit lighter, and say that you want it to be, you know, a more uniform finish. So, you know, you just build this up a little bit more on this side. To, you know, help balance out the color of the board there. Something like that. So anyways, I hope that this ends up helping and gives a good representation of how you can end up tinting Tru Oil, which is a petroleum based product. And you know, the solvent dyes really are not intended for a petroleum base, but it's one option that you can end up doing to end up getting the liquid dyes to end up mixing in with something like the Tru Oil or the tung oil. Again, they'll mix straight into a solvent base, clear coat like lacquer, shellac, things like that, of that nature. So again, I hope it ends up helping somebody out, and thanks for watching.